Do you think it's possible to let go of the past? To relinquish the past, let go of it, and just be in the present time. I tell you, after 50 years, 51 some months now, it seems as though I have a lot of baggage that I don't actually have. You see these ants? The difference between them and they and us, human beings. You make them over there in that crevice over there, too small. And that crack. Scares to make them out there. They don't hold on to the past too well, I don't think. I really can't say. I'm not an ant. Now, I'm not saying they don't learn lessons about what to fuck with, what not to fuck with. But I'm not so certain. Certainly, they hold on to the past in ways that may interfere with them doing what they need to do here in the present. Like, it's real easy to let go of the past because you really have no past. And yet, because you have such intelligence and such a brain that holds on to, information of what it was and what it wasn't, what it may be, what it might be. You have this understanding, have a crude, advanced, and sophisticated it may be, of some concept called the future, some concept called the past. Yet here we are. 50 years wouldn't mean shit to me as far as baggage goes. If I could just let go of everything I think I know so much, excluding things like don't touch the fucking ones with the colorful wings, because they're wasps and they have stings. Or they're yellow jackets, just leave the yellow jackets alone and leave the frogs over there, the very colorful frogs, the tree frogs, or what kind of frogs they are, the poisonous frogs. Don't fuck with those amphibians either. And be careful around hot stoves. A good bit of the rest of that is just unnecessary. Like concepts you have about people. Is it really accurate? Because if it's not, then I guess I've lived 50-something odd years and haven't learned shit as far as people go. Because I really like to let go of a lot of these concepts I have about people. Kind of like perspective. Now, you may indeed be short, or you may indeed be tall, according to what we call short and tall as it relates to human beings. However, what is your perspective? Is what I'm asking right now. What is my perspective of big and tall, short and tall? Are you short? Or are you so much more than short? Are you tall? Or are you so much more than tall? Are you your physical person at all to begin with? Because a lot of people say, man, that guy's short. And you get treated in a certain way in life because you're short. And other people say, man, that guy's tall. And you get treated certain ways in life because you're tall. I think Goliath caught hell with being tall. Just think about it. If you were walking around here right now, 10 feet tall, and everyone else is, I think, 6'9", you know? 6'9" was like, that's tall for everyone else. Or about as tall as everyone else is going to get within reason until it becomes extraordinarily tall. And that's pretty extraordinarily tall for a lot of people, 6'9". Do you think you'd have a normal life? You'd probably catch hell with that. Say, well, what's that got to do with anything? It really doesn't have much to do with anything, you know? Except for that your body, your physical appearance, can tend to have a lot to do with how you get treated in this world and how you get regarded in this world. I've got a lot of baggage from my physical appearance that I hold on to, from my body that I hold on to. I got this whole thing called I'm African American, I'm black. You know, all the baggage that goes with that. And believe it or not, you be like, man, you need to let that go, a good bit of that shit go, because it's not the 80s any longer, you know? You were born in 1974. Man, it's 2025 now, 2026 now. I'm sorry, my bad. And you'd be like, yeah, I guess it is. But I remember back when it was the early 80s, or the mid 80s, or early 80s. I do. I'd never been on a bus and told I have to sit on the back of the bus. I'd never been told that I can't drink from this water fountain or that water fountain or use this restroom or that restroom. But you have people on this planet right now who do remember those days. Post 1968 or pre 1968, before civil rights was passed. And they're here right now today, and they probably have a bit of baggage from those days. You have people who were born in the 2000s. Somebody who was born 10 years ago. And they're like, man, I can't relate. Until they start looking at some video on YouTube about what it used to be. And how it was for those who can relate. How do you think they differ from the 10-year-olds, differ from the ones who are still around here today? Because I was talking about in the video prior to this one, about how someone can put on your tombstone that you were this and you were that and X, Y, and Z, and they were this person, and that person. And in 1,000 years from now, probably be no one around who really gives a shit, you know? You say, well, why are you being so fucking, what do you call it? Morbid, or whatever. I'm not. I'm just saying it's kind of a truth. No one really cares. Like, so once you get rid of so many people, once so many people have recycled, can you still see them? The ants in that crack going back and forth? Probably you zoom in. I'm gonna zoom out. Then it becomes less and less of an issue, I think, yeah? But you pass it down, and they pass it down, but they still don't quite get it like you used to get it, you know? Like right now, you can pass down all kind of shit you want to pass down. And you've passed down so many things, but no one quite gets it like they got it back in the time when they had quarters and slave quarters and all that stuff going on. And people were picking cotton and all that shit. You get a very diluted, watered down experience or understanding of it, I would say, yeah? It just has to be that way. It just gets to be that way. Do I talk too much? Because I don't think I talk enough. Maybe I ought to talk more. I'm talking to this phone a lot more. But what's the point? We're talking about baggage. Why am I holding on to my baggage of some shit that happened in the 80s? You know, the way the 80s do. I'm pretty sure people see things differently these days. You know, somebody who was born 10 years ago, what's your perspective of racism and all that stuff? Because I was pretty close. I was born pretty close to 1968 when civil rights was passed. You know, things then, they weren't like they are now. It took a while for that to catch on, probably about 10 years after 1968 for it to really take hold. You know, and you can start seeing, you know, that it's actually making some big changes. You know, there's a lot of resistance more than likely, even though it was legally binding. It took a little while for it to become something of a cultural acceptance. So, I guess my original point was, all the baggage that I hold on to, there's a lot of baggage I could let go of, because we're not in the past. This isn't the 70s, this isn't the 80s, this isn't the 90s. Hell, it's not even the 2000s. There's some shit so different than that. So other than that. So incomprehensible of that you can't really explain what it is. And that brings us right back to perspective once again of short and tall. So you can say, well, you're a short person, that's a tall person. Or you can one up on all of it and just say, man, I'm gonna turn some perspective on this shit and just rise above it. Now, it could be just as easy as making it happen, really, because once you do it, then it's as good as done. Do you really want to do that? Then you get the pain pleasure principles in there, because right now, do I really want to let go of everything I think I know about human beings and upgrade to, hey man, you're just something incomprehensible, beyond words, beyond description, beyond identity? Maybe I don't. That'd leave me quite vulnerable out here, wouldn't it? Just to forget everything that I fucking know about human beings and the world and how it works in general, and let go of all my baggage that keeps me so well protected in this world of people who have baggage themselves. Like, I run across somebody right now who was born 20 years before I was born. You know? And maybe they're hardcore about this whole black-white thing, you know, out of Mobile, Alabama. And I run up on them like, man, I've got no baggage. I'm not tripping off of it. And they're like, that's great. That's great, nigger. That's good for you, nigger. Real good for you. You know? That could be my own detriment, right? But what about these ants, you know? They learn what they need to learn. They know what they need to know. They're very intelligent. But for some reason, I suspect they don't really hold on to baggage. They could probably learn from me right here in a minute. And I start fucking with them and shit. They're like, okay, whatever this guy is or whatever this is that just walked into our reality, it's something we have to deal with and cope with and so on and so forth. But how much baggage do they have about that shit? They don't carry about that shit. You know, if they're going to let that prevent them from getting on about their life and getting on about their business, getting on about their day, or making them unhappy, maybe they will. There's one way to find out. We can be pragmatic and test the validity of this concept by its practical results. Hey, that's Anthony Terrell going on about random shit. But really, I'm going on about baggage, man. I'm trying to process my shit, man. I'm thinking, I don't know why I hold on to things like I've got it so well figured out. No. Because everything's changing. Constantly changing. You know? Like, maybe there's people out there and they've been in all kind of situations. They've been this way by this person and that way by that person. Because I'm looking at this chick, as a matter of fact, on YouTube. I don't even know her channel name or whatever. You know, I'm not that worked up about it, I guess. But she comes off like someone, I don't really know what she could be. Just a whole big thing that she does for her channel. I don't really know. But how she comes off is like someone who may be very embittered. Very embittered at men. And for all I know, she's a sweetie pie and she loves men to bits. And she's just got some YouTube channel out there that says, hey, this is how I'm going to fucking make my YouTube channel for all those women out there who want to hear independent, making money, throw your hands up at me. If they ain't no good, let them go and move on to something better. Whatever it is that you do. When you do that thing against your little anthems about whatever it is you do and how they do it. You know? And there could be other people out there like, hey, I'm for men's rights and I'm an advocate for men and, you know, I endorse this for men and so on and so forth. And they could probably give a shit about men. But maybe they figure it's lucrative to do so. And they'll corner a market where you don't have that many women doing that. So, it's difficult to say what it is and what it isn't. But how she comes off, it would seem like she has a lot of baggage. And she's very embittered at men. And very spiteful at men. I think kind of like I come off at times, my overtones with women, when I go on about women, all the baggage and shit. Ironically enough, for somebody who hasn't gotten married at 50. Maybe, you know, maybe that it's legit what she does and what she goes through. Maybe she could let some of that go. If she just let go of that baggage and start fresh each and every day with each and every person that she comes across as an individual who is not necessarily going to be in alignment with what your baggage says they're going to be in alignment with. Because not all men out here, just like they're not all women out here, are going to fall under the category of what you say men are and what women are. She's a woman unto herself, you know, and there may be a lot of women like her who support what she says and how she says it. Maybe women who don't even support what she says and how she says it, they come across her all of a sudden like, now, you know, light bulbs are coming on. It's like, yeah, what do you know? And all of a sudden now they're coverts, what is it? Converts, you know, converted. But at least for me, I don't know. Shall I let go of my baggage? I remember this guy, I was working at this job, and this guy says he is really into religion and stuff like that. It's a bit fanatical and kind of came off as like, I don't know, kind of weird with it and stuff. He want to pray over you and stuff like that, and you come and pray over you, you get rid of all your demons and shit. And the guy who was head of the organization, or head of the outfit and shit, running, he's like, look, man, I want you to stop praying for my deckhands, all right? Stop blessing my deckhands and taking the demons out of them. I need these mother to work and be strong. I need them to have them demons. And someone else who spoke to me in a different scenario, in a different place that I was at, doing some stuff, a co-worker of mine back in the day. He's a much younger man. Not as young as I was at this time. I was only 18 at that time. And he was going on about something he saw in me. He says, you have knots. You have a lot of knots. As if to say those knots are something I need to unknot from his perspective. And that's when, once again, we get back to perspective. Now, I could say, yeah, I've got knots and feel some type of way about myself because I do have knots. It's just inevitable for me to have knots. It's the way I came up and the way my life went out. And just probably you as well. You're probably as neurotic as you can fucking be, you know? But just because you're like everybody else, you don't really see it. Well, everyone else is fucking neurotic to a good bit of a degree. If you're like these ants, maybe you're not so neurotic. If you're a human being, you're not like these ants, maybe you deal with a lot of shit, whether you're like everyone else or not. Anyhow, it's like you're not. So I could look at my knots in a lot of ways, you know? In a lot of ways. And I could look at my demons in a lot of ways. Cryan says in the Lightworker's Handbook, you need to work these things out. He didn't say you didn't have something to work out. He says you need to work these things out, you know. A lot of you light workers come from dysfunctional families and so on and so forth. Put together pieces of the puzzle. For better or worse, embrace that as long as you're on this planet, you will have your dark and you'll have your light, your what do you call it? Your duality. So, I think there's a lot of work to be done. There's actually some videos over there I should listen to over the Lee Carroll's channel, Cryan Lee Carroll's channel over there. They've been up there for a while now, and you know, I think some of them may be pertinent to me, like you're working on your inner child and things like that. I haven't gotten to those yet. So, it's not like I've forgotten them though. And I ain't forgotten them by damn sight. There's a lot of other videos as well, besides working on your inner child. Videos about the field. Videos about youthing, self-healing, not just your emotions and your turmoils and inner turmoils, but your body and all that good shit. Maybe I ought to get to it. Maybe it'll all happen in time. When the time is right. Maybe that's a cop-out. Maybe it's not. Maybe a part of me doesn't really want to. For whatever reason that is. Like a part of me doesn't want to let go of my baggage. How I feel about the world and the people and the world in general. Maybe I feel there's hard lessons learned. It seems like the most painful lessons are the ones you remember the best or the most, and that you don't want to just let go of too easily, yeah? But did you learn your lesson? What did you learn? You learned that the world can be a cruel place. It can be an uncompromising place. And the people in it can be the same way. But is that what you learned? Is that accurate? Or is that baggage? What is it? Is it helpful? Spend some perspective on that shit is what I'm trying to do. Either way. Now that much I can align with. Put a little perspective to it. Without necessarily letting go of all my knots and all my demons and so on and so forth. And forgetting that Jethro, or Jed, out in Mobile, Alabama, just as soon see me hang from a goddamn tree. Give two shits about me in the other way. And I'm not saying anything in some type of way. I'm just using that as one isolated example of why you just can't walk around this fucking world too Pollyanna-ish and shit, right? Oh, love it, jack that. Ooh.